Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's the middle of August and it's time for me to change my water filters. I'm on a well here in Maryland, and I have water treatment for my pH, which I have a separate video to have you guys check out if you want to see how to do that kind of maintenance. But for this cycle, what I need to do is change out my sediment filter, which I have down here, and then my carbon filter up here. So what we have, just kind of step back here a moment. I've got water coming in, this way, and it goes through the sediment filter, the outside, then comes up through the inside where it's been filtered for any like dirt and residue, and then comes up here and then goes up into my water softener, comes out of the water softener, and then back down out of the water softener into my line, which treats my pH, and then up into, I have a water meter here just to see how much water I got going through the system, and then my carbon filter up here. So let's have a go. What I first need to do is I need to shut the water off to the system, and I have a bypass valve over here on the other side. I'm just going to go ahead and shut that off. Alright, so I have my two bypass valves off right now, and that means I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go after my sediment filter first. Now to get these off, this is a plastic housing. What you want to do is take one of these plastic rings, filter holders, slide it up onto the water filter, and you can see it's got like notches here you can kind of latch onto. So I'm going to go right there. And the other thing I do is I use a little bit of a hammer. Now, when you go unscrew this, basically it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, looking at it from the bottom of the filter going up. But when you crank on this, you don't want to break any of your pipes up here. So I have very strong standoffs up here. I just still want to kind of be careful how I do this. So I'm going to kind of brace and hit. Back up down. Get another crank on here. This is the most scary part to me, breaking that filter loose, because you don't want to break any of these PVC supply pipes at all. Just slow and steady. It's probably a good idea to have somebody help you when you do this. Okay, so I'm getting a little pressure coming out of there. Should be able to see that okay. Got my little bucket down below. By the way, there is a pressure relief valve up here that I could have hit. I didn't do that, my bad. But not a whole lot of water in there. Okay, I'm going to take my filter wrench off. Okay, unscrew that the rest of the way. Let that drip. Okay, I'm pouring half that sediment out. Water from the sediment filter. And you can see here, I want everyone to take a close look at this. Look at all this this color here, and I can feel kind of hard to see, but there's just a little bit of grit on this the filter. Just going to go ahead and set that off to the side for now. All right, so with that, I have to go get some filters. Let me show you what I do for getting my filters. All right, so I'm kind of a be prepared kind of guy. It's a Boy Scout, actually. I have a drawer here for water filters, and this is not me. That's the COVID leftover stuff that's going on. So I've got this drawer here. I've got my sediment filters, and I have carbon filters. The carbon filters I have are EP510. That's a 5 micron nominal rating, and the sediment filters, I'll go ahead and put in the description what micron rating they are, but they're probably at least a 10. Okay, so got that. Okay, get back over here. Okay, so I've got my filters over here. They're always wrapped in plastic, right? So probably a good tip would have been to do this ahead of time. Now, the other thing you want to do is make sure that before you go putting this in there that you're ready. So what I want to show here, it's going to be kind of hard to see. Give me a moment. All right, so I got a little bit of light on the subject. What I want to show is down here at the bottom of this, and I still have some water in there. I'm going to swirl it around. And you'll see that there is a tiny bit of sediment at the bottom. Don't know if you can see that very well or not. But there is the tiniest bit. So I'll just take and swish that around. Got as much of it as I can out. I also want to make sure you can see up here by the where the screws go on, there's a little bit of sediment right there. So before I go putting that back on, I want to get rid of that. So I did stage a nice clean towel over here. Oh, there you can see the sediment really good. So we'll get as much of that as we can out. Take that O-ring out. Make sure to replace that. Look at that. You want to make sure you get all of this debris out of here, otherwise you won't get a good seal when you go to tighten it back up. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get a little paintbrush in here. Be right back. Okay, well, off camera I did use a regular type paintbrush, and you can see that got most of that debris out of there, but I'm just using one of these little foam ones just to make sure I got everything out, right? Because I don't want to compromise that seal at all. And there is a little bit of sediment at the bottom, but hey, it's going to be what it's going to be. Alright, so set this to the side. Get my sediment filter unwrapped. I'm trying to minimize touching that with my fingers. And there is like a little peg at the bottom of these filter housings where you want that that hole to line up with. So, okay, I felt the top on there. Okay, remove the rest of the plastic. All right, so with my sediment filter in there, what I need to do is, remember, I need to put my my O-ring back in there. I'm just going to give that a quick wipe, make sure there's no sediment on there from me pouring it out and being contaminated with some sediment. Okay, I got my sediment filter back in there. I'm going to try to hold it to a center position. This is the hardest part. Got to make sure that cartridge is lined up with the filter cap. Okay, got my wrench. Okay, I'll go back here and give it a little bit of a tap. And what I'm doing when I'm tapping this, I'm watching the relative position of the wrench to the cap of the housing. And that's about all further I think it's going to go, which is about right, because when I started unscrewing this, that's about where the text is that I had sediment filter in when I started. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and label this with today's date, put it on here so I know when it was last done. Now I've got to go up here to my carbon filter and get that taken down. Okay. The same thing here, we want to go in and make sure I brace this as much as possible. Okay, I think I broke it. Okay, same thing here, just unscrew it. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and take my label off from last year. Okay, same thing here. You want to pull out the old filter. Now you're not going to see a lot of discoloration on this filter because it's basically a chemical filter for like all kinds of nasties that are in the water. Let me go swoosh this out. Alright, so I do have these nasties in here. Let me show you what I have in mind to clean them out. I can't really get my hand in there 100%, so what I'm going to do I've got some PVC pipe here that I use for cleaning or breaking the salt crystals up a little bit. So I'm thinking what I can do is put this towel on the end of that PVC, and oh yeah, I can feel it's getting right up in there. Look at all those nasties. Okay, getting more and more of the nasties off of there. You can see they're coming off here on the end of the towel pretty well. One more time, I think we'll be okay. Okay, I think I got the majority of it out. Still a little bit coming. I'm going to wipe it once or twice more here. Definitely a lot better. Didn't get everything. It might be an idea to just spritz a little disinfectant in there. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. No, I won't, because that'll come through in the water. I think what I'll do is, since that's pre-filter, I'll be okay. All right, first thing I want to do is get my rubber gasket back in here, so make sure that's in the groove, which it is. Okay. And then I'll get my filter out. Take this shrink tape off of here. Make sure I remove that off the outside, along with the paper. You want to make sure that you have your gasket at the bottom, which goes around that ring. Okay, yep, felt it. Okay, got my gasket on the top and my rubber housing gasket in there. Okay. It's very, very important that you make sure that you have in your mind that you know that the center of those filters are lined up with the housing correctly. How do you know that? And I really don't know, but after you do this different times, you'll get a sense of it. Okay, that feels about as tight as I made the other one. So this is the other tip I can share. Just want to check something here. I call this philosophy point of use. Keep the filter wrench here along with my hammer right where I know I'm going to be using it next time. So let me go ahead and turn my my bypasses back on. You hear the water rushing through. Okay, got that one on. And my second one's up here. You can see the water flow is going through this portion of the system. And now what I want to do is obviously you want to check for leaks around your gap between your filter housing and the heads. Not just now, but I'll come back in a couple hours and check tomorrow again and check. If there's nothing leaking by that time, we'll be good. But that's how I go about changing my water filters out. And again, that's a sediment filter along with a carbon filter. All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on this process and leave a comment below. Thanks. Bye for now. Mana mana.